Love finances, the other F word, and want to support the show? Become a patron by going to patreon.com/FTOFW. You'll get special features, a shout out on the air, and early releases. Or if you prefer, pick up some merchandise at financestheotherfword.com.
As fantastic a CFP as Mel O is, as wonderful an attorney as I am, and as good as Stormy is at whatever it is he does, please do note that anything said in our podcasts are our opinions alone and are not meant to be taken as financial or legal advice.
Welcome to Finances, the Other F Word, a Gen Xer podcast for musicians and music lovers, where we discuss money and music without all the pretentious bullshit. Here are your hosts, Zoe Terry, attorney at large, Stormy Andrews, founder of Yokel Local Marketing, and Mel O, certified financial planner and author of Finances, the Other F Word. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome to Finances, the Other F Word. I'm super excited to have Rafael Pensado, and I did say that right. I've been practicing here with us. This motherfucker, check it out. He is the production assistant for Megadeth, drummer for the band Mind Flow, entrepreneur and business partner of Punta Blanca. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I did not say puta. I said punta.
Yes.
And Vic Rattlehead. So thank you so much for being on the show. How are you doing today, babe?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Mel. Thank you, Stormy and Zoe, for having me. This is a very big honor for me. And, hope to share some of my not so boring history, I hope. And right now I'm in Brazil. I'm in São Paulo, and things are not as advanced as in the US, unfortunately. I'm talking about COVID for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we're taking care of each other and hoping to these very dark days to go by as fast as possible.
Are you still on lockdown right now?
Yeah, right now we started like this purple phase, whatever darker color there was. And that's supposed to start tomorrow for another 15 days. But there's speculations that tomorrow they're going to announce this black stage and even more restrictions. Nobody knows, but there's a curfew, 8 p.m. Nobody should be on the street anymore until 5 a.m. Wow. And, there's a lot of complications because Brazil is not like the US. It's impossible for the economy to support the population without work. That's just not a reality. And there's a lot of people that need to go out and, pursue that day's food money. And there's a lot of contradiction going on there and not a lot of information. And that shows that there's not a lot of care. The population doesn't feel cared for. And the number of vaccines is a very clear example of that.
So, and so listeners, like he had mentioned, so we're doing this via Zoom and I'm recording the audio, but the audio is based on our connection to Brazil. So there might be a couple hiccups during this audio recording that I'll try to smooth over as much as possible. But other than that, I mean, it's fucking COVID. So we're all just kind of doing what we're trying to do. So did people rush the grocery stores there like they did in America, like complete jackets?
Yeah. In the beginning, yeah, big time. Right now, there's not that, rushing for everything because, distribution got a handle of it. And it seems that there's not going to be a shortage of supply of any sort. But in the beginning, there was just like in the US, toilet paper and just like that's a lot of sense of fear in the air, most of all fear.
Yeah. So then so you said that the government doesn't really help people. Like we just had another round of stimulus come out. So what do people do there? I mean, if they're not eating, like how does that work in Brazil?
Well, in a lot of places, people just going out on the street and doing the work, selling stuff on traffic lights. That's not uncommon. But the association is like not a union per se, but like kind of union of restaurants that they had to cut down the percentage of attending people, the capacity reduced to 20%, and they try to get together and explain what could be done. But a lot of business just shut down to never be open again, and a lot of people are just counting on there's a lot of independent people helping out everybody as they can, as much as they can, and a lot of that, and it's impressive to me that there's not like this, oh, let's cut off taxing for a while, let's people keep their pockets with a little bit of money for food for their kids and stuff. But that's not happening. Bills keep coming, and if you don't pay, you get fined, and then interest on top of that. It seems that if this was done on purpose, it's working.
Let's transition into some fun stuff. I hope you guys hang in there and be as safe as you can. I know that we have a very large global listenership base. Oh shit. And on top of that, before we get to the meat and potatoes of this, Zoe, would you like to welcome our 2 new countries?
Oh gosh.
Totally fucking forgot. We got 2 new
Wow.
countries.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys are putas.
Putas.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. So take it back. And welcome to Nepal and the Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. How should I say it, Rafael?
I don't know.
I don't know.
In Portuguese would be Costa do Marfim. Ivory would
That
be
doesn't
Marfim.
help.
Yeah, so Ivory
She's trying
Coast,
to
I think sounds great.
the country is
look at
really,
me.
really hard to pronounce.
I
I
know.
know.
So we'll
So,
just go with
hey.
we'll go with Ivory Coast. So Ivory Coast, Nepal,
Well,
welcome to our family.
That's awesome.
welcome.
Mhm.
So,
Yay.
okay. And so now you started off in your music career as being the drummer of the band Mindflow, which you are still the drummer of. So tell me a little bit about, your process through that. You guys have some CDs out, and then you opened up for a band that's going to be help us link to you to Megadeth down the road. So tell us about, your time with Mindflow and how that all came about.
Sure. Well, music for me started early. When I was about 6 years old, I saw my neighbor practicing drums with this band, and that kind of grabbed me by the throat. The power of the drums and all that stuff was really, really immediate. And for a year, I was begging my parents for a drum set, but we didn't have a space in the house. You don't take a kid seriously when he's 6 and he asks for a drum set. And time went by, and I got drum lessons. When my 7th birthday, I got drum lessons, and started to play drums in the drum school, and it kept that way until I was 12, and then playing just cover bands with school friends and music school friends, and then in 1999, I had the opportunity to live one year in Australia. I went to Sydney, and that kind of opened up a lot of possibilities in my head. And then one of my closest friends went to visit me that winter, and I was like, dude, we should make our own band. Stop playing covers band or listen to all this music coming out. And I remember one record in particular. It was Dream Theater's Scenes from a Memory, and they're kind of known for bringing back from the ashes the progressive genre of music, and it was something I was into them before that, but that album in particular was something that showed me music that I never thought could be written that way. And so in the end of that year, I was decided to go back to Brazil and start my band, because we were going to conquer the world, And so in 2000, we started the whole thing, and we didn't have all the band members. It was just myself and the guitar player, and we started rehearsing. And then I got back to high school in São Paulo, and I would meet our bass player, Ricardo, and few years later, the keyboard player, and 3 years later, the singer. And then when we had the singer, we were like, all right, let's do what bands do. Let's record an album. And then we got the album done by the beginning of 2008, and sending out to labels again, trying to get a better deals and all that stuff. And then in 2009, we got called for a few festivals. 2010, we got a booking agency, which was a first for us. Then we go touring with UFO.
Nice.
Then it was really cool. Those guys were amazing.
That's Eddie Trunk's favorite band, for those of you who know who
that's
Eddie Trunk
true.
is.
Yeah. I met with Eddie Trunk in a
He's
city
so
called New
nice.
Hope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Met him twice. He has always been the coolest fucking guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because one of my drum idols is Mike Portnoy, and when we went to play that show in Pennsylvania in a city called New Hope, Portnoy and Eddie Trunk showed up, walked in front of the stage while we were playing. I was like, oh my God, Portnoy is here. And it was a big deal for me.
Wow.
Then after we went talking to them, it was very, very cool. And UFO guys are the best. I wish them the best all the time. But then, we got a couple of very sour experiences with management. Guys clearly stealing from us, not looking for our best interest. And we were in Brazil. What can you do when you're overseas?
Right.
And then in 2013, we had a last US tour. Ended up in LA in March, and we played the Wiltern. It's a very traditional venue. It was a big deal, and we had a few people interested in us. A couple Live Nation guys were, hey, when your contract's due, let's talking about possibilities. And so I went back to the bus and talked to the guys, and was like, hey guys, this is it. Let's just stay. We have to stay in the US. This is how it goes. Mm-hmm. It's been 13 years till the starting point up to now. 5 records were put out, a lot of effort, and I felt that it was time to stay in the US. We had the visa, why not stay? But of course, in those 13 years, your internship, you become the director, and then your girlfriend becomes your wife, and the wife becomes a mother. And it's not that simple to detach from all that, to rebuild everything in the US, because once you had a dream. But to me, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough going back to the States on the summer and tour once and pretend that was my reality. It wasn't enough for me. It wasn't deep enough. So I went back to Brazil, and things started to go cold very fast, very quickly, even between the band members. We never lost respect for each other. I love those guys. Before band, we are friends, and we still keep in touch. We still have business together, and it's amazing. But this is like the dream that I had, and it hasn't changed.
So how do you find yourself back in LA to get on the new career path then?
Yeah, so I went back to Brazil and started to looking for the truth. What's my truth? And it wasn't in the end of any bottles. I looked for them all. It wasn't working. I was on a very lonely and cold path to self-destruction. And then my sister-in-law, she noticed, she's a psychologist, and she was like, hey, if you need to talk to someone, just, call this person. She's a very good friend of mine, and she's amazing. And I realized that it was time, to, regroup and reconnect with whatever I wanted to do with my life, and not stop wasting energy and, just life. So I went to talk to this therapist, and I had a lot of doubts for the process. First of all, how do I know if she's even listening to what I'm saying? How do I know if what I'm saying is the reality? Am I just being a victim here, looking for comfort? but in the end, I was like, yeah, just blow steam and whatever, and so I did 6 sessions with her, and on the 7th session I canceled. And she asked, okay, sure, but can I ask you why? I said, yeah, I'm moving to LA and I'm doing this, whatever it is, I gotta go find it. And she, yeah, great, keep me posted. So I moved to LA, I go to Musicians Institute, I break my little pig, have every savings that I had, sold everything else that I had. And I moved to LA into an apartment, living with two students, 15 years younger than I am. And just started at MI. Let me recoup my education, but 9 months into the program, it wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for the hustle. I was looking to connect, for the people and the shows and the activity of the business entertainment, not just developing the craft that I was, playing for over 25 years. I'm not saying I was the best drummer I could be, no, but that's just a fraction of being in the industry meant, and one day I go into the Rainbow Bar because, that's what you do. You go out, you socialize, you network, whatever that means at the time,
The fucking Rainbow, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I go into the Rainbow and I bump into a Brazilian guitar player called Kiko Loureiro. And I used to know Kiko in Brazil because our bands used to play a lot together. And he's a very well-known guitar player, huge guy, and he was like, what are you doing here? I said, well, I just moved to LA. So what are you doing here? Yeah, I moved to LA as well. Dude, we should get my number, I don't know anybody here. But Kiko was busy, he's a touring guy all the time. He has his solo career as well. He had his band and he was not in town a lot. But every time he was, we would get together and, reconnect. Hey, what are you up to? What's going on? Do you know any opportunities? And that side of the hustle. And towards the end of MI, I had, a whole backline from Mindflow that was sitting on storage, and to stop paying for storage, I'll say, hey guys, I'm gonna keep this all to me. I had a ton of merch, all the gear. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it, but I knew I wasn't gonna pay storage anymore. So my whole apartment became like a little Guitar Center. And one day my roommate's friends started to coming in for beers and stuff and say, dude, what's all this stuff? So, well, that's my band. And said, well, let me see the stuff, and they saw the CDs with the game, and I started to explain everything. And they were, dude, you should, you gotta make my record happen. I'm not a record producer. I'm not an engineer, but I worked with some. Okay. So after all that, I put a little studio together, and couple people started working there, recording there, and in all those conversations with Kiko, he was like, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm helping these new artists develop their album and stuff. And I saw there was a window of opportunity. That's where most artists fall between first rehearsal and first album, first show. And so that's really interesting indeed. And so I went out on tour with one of those artists, and the second time around was on tour. The last show we were heading up to, and Kiko called me, hey, I know you're on the road, but Megadeth I need to know your height and weight. And I went, okay, so either you guys need a new Vic Rattlehead or you're sending someone to kill me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, we need a new Vic Rattlehead.
So can you explain for listeners who don't know Megadeth, who Vic Rattlehead is?
Yeah, well, Megadeth, it's, probably the most thrashier band there ever was. Dave Mustaine co-founded Metallica. He got kicked out of it, and he founded Megadeth out of anger. And Vic Rattlehead is the kind of the mascot that symbolizes all that oppression that Dave felt at the time, through music. And so those three monkeys don't see, don't hear, don't speak. Vic kind of humanizes all that stuff into his appearance. And so it's on every cover is right. It's the mascot for Megadeth.
Any Megadeth album. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any Megadeth album. You see the skull, you see Vic. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Yeah, of course. So I called my wife and, hey, honey, you know Megadeth, that band? Yeah, of course. So yeah, I got the call. And what do you mean you got the call? Yeah, they invited me to go on tour, and 3 weeks and a half, and I was already on the road. And she was not very happy, but she was very supportive. And then I went to the first show. I was in Arizona, and I finished the show. I threw everybody in the car, and I just drove to San Bernardino to do that show. And I meet Dave Mustaine, and it's all like happening super fast. And it wasn't the best performance or anything, but it happened. And then in the end of that show, the guys were like, yeah, I'll see you in Seattle. And then, by the third show, I connected with the band. And for some reason, Dave kind of went with my face and started to get closer to me. And by that time on the first tour, I was just Vic. That's the only thing I was doing. But I was kind of helping out everyone that I could. But most importantly, I tried to stay out of everybody's way. And then I got an invitation for a second tour and a third tour, and this year is the 5th year of being with them. Yeah, it's been kind of a dream.
No, it's and there's pictures of you on your Instagram as Vic on stage with Dave Mustaine. So if any of you guys listening are metalheads, like that's fucking huge. I mean, to even be on stage with Megadeth in any way, shape, or form is fucking amazing. But then, he has a picture with his arm around Dave, and they're like, he's all fucking into full, Vic get up. But the thing that I liked when we had talked is that you said you started out like that, but then you started making yourself very useful, and you were able to secure more of a bigger part on the team.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, I wanted to do everything that nobody else wanted to do. Because if you're not useful, you're gone, right. As simple as that. And I needed to make an impression real quick, because you only had like 4 weeks left on that tour. And it's just not time enough, especially because most of the work happens when the band is not there. And, I didn't have access to Dave all the time. So one day I thought I was going to get fired, because the tour manager radioed me and he was like, dude, what's your home airport? I said, already? It was like the 4th show already, singing home? Oh my God. But okay, I have a story, And on the end of the show, I was getting dressed for Vic, and there's this guy that helps me getting dressed. And I was like, I think this is my last one. He said, why do you say that? Well, they're asking for my home airport and all that stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. And then, yeah, that's cool, man. I have 4 shows in. It's great. It's been a dream. So I do this thing, and I get emotional with the mask, and I go back to my little office, and I'm kind of jumping. Hey, this is awesome. And then my friend just freezes and kind of points towards the door. And then I turn around, and Dave's at the door, Mustaine's at the door, and he's kind of staring at me with a beer in his hand. And he goes, oh, so you heard you're going to get fired, huh? So, well, I didn't technically hear it. I just had a feeling for it, but nobody told me anything. I said, well, for you, the party's over, buddy. So, well, that's cool, Dave. It's been great, man. I never in a million years I would imagine this. So it's an honor being fired by you. And he just grabbed me with an arm lock and was like, you're not going anywhere, man. And he goes, just kidding. Dude, I don't know how many dicks you've been sucking on your bus, but those guys love you. And we're gonna make this thing work, and it's gonna be great, and all that stuff. And to me, it was a very profound realization that, even sometimes you might be able to live your dreams, but your nightmares will come along with it. And, and then I just kept pushing with management. Hey, give me a chance, give me a job. And they were like, oh yeah, call next week. I'm nobody, I'm on a visa. What are you doing here? What are you trying to say? And I saw that they were having this boot camp on Dave's house, and hey guys, give me a chance, I'll be your guy, and yeah, I will pay you like $20 a day or whatever. I'm not being honest here, but I can't remember exactly the money. But just give me a fair shot, and I'll be Dave's guy. Oh, can you tune an acoustic guitar? I said, yeah, I can't tune an acoustic guitar. I can handle the whole studio if you want. And okay, so let's just give it a shot. And then I would be shadowing Dave for the weekend on his house with the fans and all that stuff. And in the end, I was like saying goodbye to Dave. I say, hey, Dave, thank you for having me. You know, this is the last time I'll be, you know, saying anything, because I'd rather be remembered as a guy that did an okay job than a guy that's been knocking on your door forever. And he just held my hand and got me to the house with his wife. And dude, what's your deal? What do you want to do? I want to be around, man. I want to learn from you, and I want to, you know, help as much as I can. I have some experience with my band, and I can show that. You know, I'm honest. I'll never lie to you. And if I don't know something, I'll tell you that I don't know. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll come back with an answer. And he'd say, yeah, well, I want to keep you, but, you know, management doesn't have money to, you know, to pay you a fair amount. Say, Dave, the first tour, I'm not doing this for the money. You can bet on that. You know, let me prove myself necessary. And then they call me as a production assistant for the summer tour. And it was very, very overwhelming because they fired the production manager on the second week of that tour. And instead of bringing another production manager, they just split the activities between 3 guys and myself, which kept me on my toes and learning and being as quick as I could. But most of all, we spent a lot of time with Dave, you know, and understanding his needs and understanding what he saw as a good organization. He knows very clearly what he wants and how things should be done. And sometimes you have this, you know, crew that's been together for so long that it's kind of normal for them to misplace themselves and to put themselves in a position where they're the artists, and that's very wrong, you know, because it's a unit. You know, there's no two of anyone, from the production assistant to the lead singer. There's just one of each. And if you're not helping, you're bringing problems. And there was a saying that I remember Willie G used to be Dave's guitar tech. He's very well-known guy. And, you know, it was like 2 a.m. I'm pushing my production office case to the truck, and Willie G comes back helping me. No, you go take a shower. I'll take this to the truck. I said, no, Willie, this is my case. I'll take care of it. And he goes, nobody's done until everybody's done. And that kind of got stuck in my head. I said, dude, that's the fucking thing. Nobody should be done until everybody's done.
It's a great saying.
And it's a great saying. It goes a long way, because it's not, unfortunately, it's not uncommon to hear on the radio, hey guys, I need this or that. And you will hear out, that's not my fucking job. My job is done for the day. And that just sucks, especially if you're on tour. You know, everybody should be together as a unit, because it's hard for everybody, especially after the 4th week. You start to get a little cuckoo, and things doesn't seem as clear as they should. But it was interesting because in the end of that tour, everybody got fired, and me and another guy remained. So it was kind of a switch from being a rookie to being senior. And everybody that came after that, I would give some advice. You know, even though I'm not the tour manager, I got offered the position, but I said, no, I like where I am. Not because I'm afraid of it, but I just really like where I am. You know, I get in the morning, I get stuff done, then the band comes in, I make sure everything's together. I get a lot of talking with the Dave and stuff, and I get to go on stage. To me, that's very big. You know, even though nobody sees my face, I don't care. To me, that's kind of historical. To me, stage is where the magic happens. And if I'm not drumming, you know, let me be Vic.
Right. And
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, before we transition into what you're doing now with the arc of COVID and everything, Mindflow is kind of getting back together. So you're going to get your chance to be back in the drum chair, correct?
Well, that's the thing. You know, we had a lot of songs that were written that never got released. And every now and then I still get messages from fans, because we never made a statement, Mindflow's done. We never did that. And so we have a lot of music that was never released. and right now I'm kind of recollecting all the memories from the band, and putting on a timeline on Instagram. I don't know what's gonna happen with all that stuff. I'm working on music all the time, but it's not a one man's decision.
Right.
Let's see where it leads. I'm producing new music all the time. Every week I have 2 days out of the week that I just sit down to produce new music with some music partners. But I can't say that Mindflow is gonna do this or that, because only time will tell.
Right.
It's not fair to the guys for me to come in after being 7 years in LA, coming to Brazil 6 months later. Hey guys, we're gonna make an album and this is
Right.
happening. So let's see where it leads.
So before we transition, so you've been with Megadeth now for 5 years.
Yeah.
What is it like? Because I've seen Megadeth multiple times. And as a matter of fact, StubHub just sent out an email to my bestie, Michelle, and said that the September show in Vegas is back on again with Lamb of God opening, which is going to be a fucking kick-ass show. So I have to try to get tickets because that show was postponed because of COVID. And I don't even know how they're going to do that now, because I think it was pretty close to selling out. And now if the capacity is cut in half, it's going to be fucking all over the place. But so when you go out there, like, of course, people lose their shit. I mean, because they see you, they don't know it's you. But I mean, what does that feel like to look out at a sea of people? Because like when I go to a concert, in that moment, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the podcast. I don't care about my business. I don't care about what fucking bill I got to pay. I'm got a good buzz on. I'm rocking out. I'm singing. I'm so happy. And so when you come out on stage, you're looking at, thousands and millions of me's. So what is that like?
It's, I never lost the perspective, the fan perspective. I never lost it, because I'm a huge Megadeth fan forever.
Oh, yeah.
And once I get into the costume, I become somebody else. I give myself the authority to do whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of connects with the fan, so sometimes
we also like to do whatever the fuck we want. So
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. And even Vic, he has his own meet and greet moment. He does his own thing separate from the band.
Did not know that.
So,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's great, because again, I can do whatever I want. So the photographer is a very good friend of mine, and I would mess with him, mess with his hair, and he would offer me chips, and I'll just smack that chippo out of his hands, and everybody would, oh my God, he's aggressive. But then I would hug. If there's a fan that I see that it's emotional or some stuff like that, I would hug them. I would get close, and you can feel sometimes people putting your hand around your waist and they're shaking, and then I would be extra energized with them for the picture or do something else. And when the performance of the show comes on, I kind of developed my own routine, because they didn't have anyone. It was like whoever fits in the suit, just walk across the stage and do your thing. But I kind of started to develop a routine, and so I would go first to Alexson, and just hold his shoulder and get to the people that are right in front of me, and then try to aim to the guys in the back, all the way back, and really try to connect visually with all those guys. And then I would go after that, cross the stage, do the guitar solo with Kiko, and I would mimic in air guitar. And then, people would freak out because, and Kiko with Vic, and it's very, very unique. And then in the end, with all this glory of the last chorus, I would step sideways to Dave and, put my hand around his shoulder. And that's when people go berserk, this, oh my God, it's right here,
and then
it's him.
Pictures, right? Just like tons and tons
of
pictures.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember seeing the first picture, the photographer sent me a copy, and I was like, wow, this is like insane. And I started Googling. So have I seen this before? And I never saw that before. And I was like, next show I go to Dave and say, hey Dave, did Vic ever did this before, like to put the design on your shoulder and stuff? No, you're the first. And I was like, wow, this is historical. It seems silly for people that don't know the historic value of Megadeth,
right?
But to me, it's a fucking enormous deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like every time I've seen Metallica and Eddie, or it's not Metallica, Maiden, and Eddie comes on stage, everybody like fucking loses it, especially when it's the Eddie on stilts and he's all walking and I'm trying to think of, he usually comes out, I don't know if it's Run to the Hills or it's one of the really, really big ones that he normally comes out, kind of walks around and stuff like that, and that was one of the things that Bruce Dickinson had said, is that he makes his motions very big. So he wants the people in the back to feel like he's right there. So you doing that as Vic, like that's classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And God, I miss live music so fucking bad, so I think that's just awesome. And the fact that Dave is so cool and allowed you to add a personality. So of course the question that I have, do Zoe and I get to meet Vic Rattlehead?
Of course. I'll talk to him right after this.
Okay, fantastic. Because that's one of her many pussies.
My pussy is so excited. Look.
Except that one has less hair.
No. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Good joke. Good joke, Stormy.
Yes, because that would be awesome. Because I didn't know Vic Rattlehead had a meet and greet, but I'm fucking all over that shit. Like a damn champion, dude. Like seriously, that would be fucking cool. So do you know if you're coming in September with Megadeth or what?
Well, everybody's hopeful. Everything's been changing so often. I know that management announced some European festivals before that now are getting postponed. It all depends on the health situation. It's more up to the health organizations and the government than up to the band, really, because everybody wants to work. Everybody needs to work. And our industry got the most fucked up. And without, especially in Brazil, there's not even a concern about crew people, and it's just sad, and everybody needs to go back to work. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, but I don't hold any personal opinions as a possibility,
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful too, because I want to see both you and Stanley and grab
it.
And of course, I want to, say what's up to Vic for sure.
Of course.
But the cool thing is that, and we've talked a lot on this podcast when we talk to people in the music industry about how the music industry has been devastated by COVID. And we've talked about numerous amount of times recently in the United States. If you guys had listened to the Money News I did when the stimulus package got approved last Wednesday, one of the things that was in there, besides another bailout for the fucking airlines, is that they are helping venues, smaller venues that have been displaced due to the fact that live everything has gone out the window, plays and et cetera, like that. But it was a very small amount of the overall bill. The bill was $2.1 trillion. I think it was a couple million that went to support some venues. And but at least they tried to do something with it in that aspect.
Yeah.
So you having to transition out, obviously, all touring stops. You go back to Brazil, but you're not going to sit idle. And that's the best part about when, you have that entrepreneur spirit. We all get kicked in our ass, but then you come right back. So now you're working on something super fucking awesome at Punta.
Yeah.
Blanca.
Punta Blanca.
I want to say Punta Blanca so bad, which is literally, is that like white bitch? Dude, Zoe. Punta Blanca. Yeah, you're my Punta Blanca. Us. I'm
me.
You too.
Oh, us.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
I'm kind of white too. Yeah, a little bit white, a little bit translucent.
You're whiter than me.
Yeah.
So So from now on, what's up, Punta Blanca?
PB.
Hey, no, that sounds like peanut butter jelly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Punta Blanca.
Right.
That's our word now, Zoe. Okay. So, but no, seriously, because the thing is that, you're not sitting idle. And I think that's fucking fantastic. And of course, I know that when everything comes back to normal, you're going to be on the road with Megadeth, and they come through Vegas all the time. So I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face multiple times over. But now
hooking up with you.
Yeah, hooking up with you. Yeah. So
and Stanley.
Yeah. So right, exactly. So for if you're a patron, you'll know what we're referring to. I'm not trying to hook up with him or Stanley. They're both married. Yeah. So tell us about how you got involved with what you're doing now. Tell us all about that, because that sounds really fucking cool too.
Yeah. So I was, the anytime that I get a call, from a friend or anyone that wants me to be a part of something, it's I have two questions. How can I help? How can I be useful? And who are the people involved? That to me is the key to everything. And so in 2019, I was on tour with Social Distortion and Flogging Molly, and one of my best and dearest friends calls me saying, "Hey, dude, we go back like 30 years." And he actually invited me to open a restaurant with him, like a Argentinian steakhouse kind of thing. And I just started living my life in LA. So I said, dude, I gotta go walk my path. I need this peace of mind to do what needs to be done. But you don't need $1,000 from me. You need an extra set of hands to carry boxes. That's what you need. So I thank you, but I decline your offer for the restaurant. And it was the right thing to do. I don't regret, even though the restaurant exploded, went really, really well. They have like 6 houses now. It's going amazing. But it was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, yeah, so, we wanted to get in business before, but, you were in LA, times were different, but now there's an opportunity and I wanted to present it to you. So him and his girlfriend at the time, his girlfriend at the time, she was this like influencer model, and she would travel the world after cabins and in all these special places. She would know all these routes in Iceland and Tasmania and New Zealand and all these very unique places. And they decided to buy this little piece of land here in Brazil and build 2 cabins, based on the concept that she saw. And after a little while, he started to travel with her. So they could rent one and have one for themselves. And the thing happened really fast, really quickly, and it worked really well. So they didn't have the cabin that they wanted for themselves because it was rented all the time. So they decided to build a 3rd one. And then people wanted to get married in the property. They wanted to do bigger stuff in there, and he just didn't have the structure or the room. But there was a piece of land close by to it. And he was like, do you want to get in this with us? And the idea was not for me to be physically active, but, going along with planning and how is this structured and a little bit of marketing and all that stuff, and try to bring a little bit of that world to the US and foreign partners as well. But then, they had the couple had a disagreement and they separated. So he bought her out, and suddenly it was just me and him. And COVID hit, and I was like, why should I be in the US? This is like end of February last year. We were in Europe with Megadeth, and end of February, we come back to LA, and I tell my wife, I think we should go back to Brazil and regroup, because this is not gonna come back anytime soon. And so whatever reservation I had of money, I would keep it and bring it back to Brazil, because here the US dollar is multiplied by 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And if I was there, I would just be sitting in my apartment, burning cash quickly and not making any. Mm-hmm. And then I started making the list, pros and cons. And first of the list would be to we live socially with my parents again. I don't know where I'm gonna live yet, but I get to see my folks. It's been 7 years. They're over 70s. It's like mortality starts reaching in and all that stuff. And so I start spending half of the week here in São Paulo and half of the week over there with the glamping site, and getting to know all the people that are working the property, and understanding a little bit more, and making a few phone calls, and helping from carrying a bag of sand to helping whatever decision needs to be made. And it's been really, really helpful to keep my mental sanity, because you're in the nature, you're in the wild. It's just mountains. And this concept, we didn't go for the cabins, we went to teepees, those Indian tents.
Oh, yeah.
So
So
excited about this. You have no idea. She's like, she wants to go
right?
like tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I have no interest in camping whatsoever, but glamping, I'm in. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
time I'm in Brazil, which I've never been to Brazil, but I am. When I go to Brazil, I'm going glamping at your place.
Yeah, you
absolutely,
and I,
absolutely.
because I like Latino men. So I'm just saying, going to
No,
Brazil
absolutely.
does not sound
And
like a bad thing.
so we developed these 3 teepees tents, and each of them are very unique. They have their own language. My business partner, he really understands that vision. And then for the 4th one, we decided to get a bus. So we cleared out the bus and we turned into this kind of cabin bus. So it's been great. Every installation has their own fireplace, has their own like hot tub outside. And then we built.
Dude, I'm liking it more and more.
I know. Hey.
No, it's amazing. And then we built.
Does the teepees come with a Brazilian man?
We can surely arrange that.
I'm just going to say, I think Rafael can arrange anything you need.
I'd like to.
Extras.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I know some guys.
I don't need one of those.
It's been really cool, because we also built like this common space where you have like 2 kitchens and Wi-Fi and a stone fireplace thing and kind of foosball table and TV, and it's just a place for you to hang with your buddies and party, and enjoying nature. It's so much different to sip a caipirinha or a beer or a glass of wine when you can stare just at the mountains. It's relaxing from the first half hour. You're already re-energized. And
how's
go ahead.
How's that going for you so far? Going good? I mean, I know it's a little hard still with COVID, but
yeah, that it's hard because of the COVID thing, and it slowed down a few the process, like finishing up some buildings, like on the road, the access. Now the rain season is stopping, so we've been getting reservations every day. So that's very good, but it's not as we believe it will be, because not everybody's making money.
Right.
There are some people that are making a lot of money because of this, but there's much more people that are not making money. And so we have to be careful with the marketing and all that stuff. We don't want to sound like, there was a TV station that wanted to do this report on exotic camping stuff, and we were like, no, dude, this is like, look, we're in Brazil, man. People are dying on the streets. Read the room. That's the perfect expression. So we were like, no, whoever wants to find us, they'll find us. Right. Word of mouth, and that's how it goes. And when time comes, we spread the word. But we wanted to keep like this really exclusive and not something that anyone will go there. Like there was a couple, major actors that wanted to do like this photo shoot, and this is not our type of guys. We're not endorsing any flamboyant actor that supports one stuff and leaves doing the other. But on the other hand, there was this girl that she kind of climbed the Everest a couple times. She would be in Africa helping kids, and she's supported by all these companies. And when she called us, sure, you're welcome to stay here because we speak the same language. We're here for the people and the experience, and not for vanity or ego and say, yeah, I travel the world, I'm on Instagram, and fuck that shit. This is a different concept.
Right. Well, make sure that you send us, because we're going to start wrapping up here, but make sure you send us pictures of it so that we can put it on our social medias. And, we're going to have you, we're going to have you give all the ways that they can contact you. But as we wrap this up, there's 4 questions that we like to ask every guest.
Sure.
And the good news is that hopefully we'll see you in September and you can sign, because I'm recording your questions, your answers to the questions in the little book.
People.
So with that, we have 4 questions. And like I said, when we see you, you can sign as Vic or you can sign as yourself. It doesn't really matter.
Sure.
So go ahead, Zoe, with the first of the 4 questions.
Zoe gets to start first. She always gets to start first.
Yeah.
Ladies first, right, for me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Did you just give me the double bird?
I did.
She gave me the
wow,
double.
the
Trying to show
double.
what a lady I am.
Wow.
Did I turn myself off?
Puta.
No.
You did. You turned yourself off.
Okay, right. So, Raphael, what was the first concert you ever went to?
My first concert was Ronnie James Dio's.
I can't
Ronnie?
hear anyone.
Yes.
You can't hear anything? Did you mute yourself, Zoe?
She unplugged that cable again.
What?
Yeah, now
what
she's
year
back
was-
in. She's back.
Okay, so Ronnie James Dio, that's amazing. What year did you see Ronnie?
Yeah, that was 1994. I was 12. That was the first show I went as an attendee. I had the opportunity to play one show before that, but it was like a school festival, so that doesn't count.
Mhm.
But as to see somebody on stage and all that big fuss, it was Dio's. And it was just like unbelievable.
I never got to see him before he died. I never,
Oh,
but
wow.
everybody has said he was the coolest fucking guy, good to the fans, such a sweetheart, married a waitress from the Rainbow, which that would be awesome.
I didn't know that.
If we go back to LA, like you and I, and drink at the Rainbow, because I've only been through there once or twice, and both times I was really fucked up. Like really
But that's what
up.
you do when you go to the Rainbow, right?
Yeah, I know, but I got fucked up before it, and then I tried to leave with my beer, and my friend got mad at me. You can't drink on the street here, and she like grabbed me and pulled me back, and I was like, yeah, fuck it. And of course I was obstinate and drunk. I can do what I want to. No, you can't, bitch. Give me your beer bottle. Yeah, it was a rough night. So not my proudest moment, but I had a good time. Okay, so Stormy.
I want to know, well, it's a little different, but do you carry a wallet with you?
Yeah.
How much, this very moment, if you were to bust out your wallet, how much cash do you have in your wallet?
I would have, that's what I call the thief money.
Okay.
So if I get mugged, I have something to give to him so he doesn't get mad and stab me. I would have close to 100 reais, which would be like $20 in cash. Yeah.
That that seems like such a benign question, but we get really interesting answers with it. We really do. I mean, I like that I was going to do a quote from Futurama, but nobody watches Futurama. And
you don't know what I watch.
I've seen some
Stormy.
episodes.
What's that?
Have you? Okay, so Bender loses his job, and so he says, "Hey, would you like to?" Yes, he's the robot. He's like, "Hey, do you want to donate to the anti-me mugging you fund?"
Oh,
that's the quote.
I like it. Yeah,
So,
that's good.
yeah, no, Bender's awesome. Okay, so Zoe,
what is your favorite swear word?
why did you get so serious all of a
You
sudden?
got serious.
I know.
It's serious shit, man. It's real shit.
That's a very interesting question.
Jesus.
That's a very interesting question because it depends on the country I'm in. If I'm
I like
point. It is. It
'cause
does.
Like if I'm in the US, I would be like cursing in English. If I'm in Spain, it would be in Spanish. If if in
But
Brazil,
what's
then
word across
Portuguese.
all those languages, those, right? I mean, aren't they? I mean, pretty. I'm assuming it's pretty much ass, shit, fuck. Like, aren't those all the same?
Yeah,
but just
exactly.
different
Yeah,
languages.
yeah, yeah.
Or is
It
there?
would be
is
like
there
something like, yes, like superlative of holy fuck, like puta que pariu.
Ooh,
Yeah, puta que
Sounds,
pariu.
ooh, that sounds
know,
good.
Yeah.
Puta,
Puta que pariu.
puta que pariu.
Pariu.
Yeah.
Puta
And if
que
you translate that, sounds very silly. It means like the whore that gave birth.
That actually
Yeah.
sounds better. I like
It
that.
sounds
Wow.
great. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
But
Can
it's
you
like-
write that down?
I am.
Yeah, of
well,
course.
I don't know how to spell that. Punt.
Puta,
Puta,
not puta,
P-U-T-A.
P-U-T-A.
Puta.
Yeah, Q-U-E.
Uh-huh.
That would be que. And then pariu would be P-A-R-I-U.
Say it one more time. Puta
Yeah.
que.
Puta,
Puta que pariu.
Puta
Puta.
que
que
pariu.
pariu.
I'll send it. I'll text it to you, Zoe. Puta
Okay.
que pariu.
Yes,
The
The
perfect.
bitch who birthed you,
The
right?
whore.
Oh,
whore.
whore.
Well, not necessarily, someone specific,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
the bitch who gave birth. Yeah.
I like it.
See?
Okay.
So I'm gonna be like Zoe, the bitch who gave birth, which is technically true because you did give birth, but you couldn't say that about me because I didn't give birth.
I could say, okay, but I could think of other words.
Yeah.
No, you
Okay.
yes, you
Okay, when you were in America and you had
Yeah.
to swear it, what would it be? What's your favorite swear word in American? Or
Motherfucker.
oh, it's a good one. It's so versatile. You motherfucking motherfucker.
that's
Yes.
I didn't
Right.
realize
Write
it,
that
but-
one down. Write that one
Yeah,
down too.
but,
Yeah, write that one down.
Stormy pointed out that that's actually my favorite word, which I didn't realize that I use motherfucker that much,
You
but
do
apparently
use
I
that a
use
lot.
motherfucker a motherfucking lot.
Because
So
that could go
Yeah.
both ways, right?
Yeah.
That could go in a good way or that could go in a bad way.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So many uses. Love it.
It's good.
Yeah,
And
very
nouns
flexible.
and all kinds
Very
of stuff.
flexible. Yeah.
Adjectives,
Yeah.
So okay, so for the last question, what song do you like to get your groove onto? And when I say groove, I mean sex. For some people have gotten confused and they're like, oh, you mean like play? No,
Yeah.
like fucking
What songs do I like to
fuck you.
dance to?
yeah.
No,
like,
I can't have any
"Feel the
music.
locomotion with me.
He can't have any music. He likes
No,
silence.
no music. Yes,
No
I
music
need
either.
silence. It's distracting. I
Wow.
start thinking about the song structure and I start counting.
You know who else
and-
gave the same exact answer that you just gave?
No.
Stanley.
Did he?
Mhm.
Oh man.
He said
That's
he
Yeah.
can't-
weird.
he
So
said
when
he
you two
can't do
do it, you can't have music on.
dude, he did. He was like, I can't do it because then I'll start listening to the song and I'll start listening to how they did that and how they did that and this
Yeah.
guitar, the way it came in. He
Yeah.
did silence too. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah, 100%.
That's fucking hilarious.
Me too.
So-
Silence, darkness, no one
Very-
else
Very
around.
British.
And
She's
then I'm
still,
fine.
Yeah.
she's still fully clothed. Just her jeans are like barely unbuttoned.
No,
Just
I
enough.
also
Yeah.
have a sheet over me and just a
Mhm.
hole.
Yeah, a hole here and a hole there.
No, just one hole
Oh, okay, so she has one
under
I
my
guess,
armpit.
to breathe. To breathe.
I don't need to breathe. It's fine.
She just keeps the veil on, and she's like, "We're very British." Like
Are we
there's
done
a-
yet? I had to
there was
think
a
of England.
There's a Family Guy episode. Stormy, you might have seen it because I know you watch Family Guy, where there's two British people and they're laying in bed and they're talking about having sex or something. It's fucking hilarious. Or maybe they're just talking. I don't know. It's hilarious, but it's so British. How I'd assume it would be like I would have to curtsy before we
Yeah.
commence to actually doing the act of
Yeah.
physical sex. Is like, I have a curtsy since I was 5, but okay, whatever. If I got to do that to get this dick, I guess I'll curtsy for you.
Is one ready yet to
You know what?
ejaculate?
This conversation has motivated me to have some sex tonight.
Oh, good
Really?
for you.
I'm there. I was
There
going
you
to
go.
pass it up, but now you know what? I'm motivated.
Yeah, just make sure you
Oh.
don't fall asleep this time, Stormy. Before you get to the action. I mean, like, at least fall asleep after, because I'm assuming that you are not a
Did he fall
selfish
asleep
lover.
during?
Oh,
And she
no. You don't know the story?
No.
So
I'm
I
not
was
sure
talking
want
like-
to, but-
Yeah, me and Sean, we were hanging out. I was talking all kinds of shit. And I'm like,
Sean's a
baby,
female, by the way.
I'm like, I got this
So
for
he
you
said.
tonight. and I flipped a blue pill on the bed. I'm like, I got this. So I took it, and then I was tired and I went to sleep.
Oh, I have heard that. Yeah.
Done it twice.
Yeah.
Did you have
told us that's
a
why.
tent pillow while you fell asleep or not?
Probably, but I was out.
Well, she probably didn't waste that, did she?
No, she totally did. I'd have been like, all right, then I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Fucking peace, bitches.
Oh, you wouldn't have used it first? I would have used it and abused it and then left.
Yeah, see,
No.
there you go. And
No,
that's
if you fall
perfectly
asleep-
acceptable.
Look, I spent my 20s and 30s having sex with dudes to not get mine. Fuck that. Fuck
Right.
that. I'm grown now. I got a mortgage.
No.
I got a business.
No,
Somebody's
but I would-
taking care of
that's-
Mel.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would use it and booze it to get mine because I can.
Yeah,
and
I know,
then-
bitch.
and
I
then
know. Thank you
leave.
for rubbing that in, you fucking British punk.
What's it?
All right,
Punta Cab.
Punta Cana Pariu.
Oh, I don't think you're
Yes.
saying that right, are we?
Puta que pariu.
Punta Cana.
Pariu. Okay, so before we let you go, Rafael, plug all your stuff. So how can people find you on social media? How can they find your glamping? Like, give us all your details and then we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, sure. Well, Instagram is Rafael Pensado, Rafael with an F. And the Instagram for the Punta Blanca is at Punta Blanca Farm. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is connected through those Instagrams.
Nice.
Fantastic. So they can get a hold of you through DM. And then we're going to be having you on here on our clubhouse where we can have audience members who listen to the show who want to ask you direct questions can come into our clubhouse, which is Finance is the Other F Word on the Clubhouse app, which will be opening up to Android users here, I think, within the next couple months. And speaking of that, we have something else we're doing after this, Zoe, after I feed my dogs and pee because I'm about to wet myself.
Oh God, I'm already.
I know.
I might
Yeah.
just let it trickle out because
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
so desperate.
Well, you've had 2 kids, so I would expect that. But you want to tell our listeners what's happening
Yes.
in an
Other
hour
than
and
the
15
week?
minutes from here.
Yes, we will be having trivia quiz. What's
Our second.
second? Oh, I
episode.
don't know why you're putting up 4 fingers because it's confusing me, but trivia quiz number 2 tonight. Lots of questions, lots of drinking, lots of shenanigans. Meet us at Clubhouse, on Clubhouse, in Clubhouse, around Clubhouse at the 7 p.m. Pacific time
Every Thursday and
every Thursday.
And of course, you can follow us on social media at Finance is the Other F Word. You can get Stormy's book. I almost said Finance is the Other F Word.
Yeah, I
the
think
world-
that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Something
World's
like
Best-
that.
Isn't every book called that? World's Best Buyer Persona System on Amazon, and you can pick up our book, Finance is the Other F Word, Another F Word to Love. And I got to send you a book, Rafael. You can get it on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Target online, and make sure that you follow Rafael. And next time you go catch Megadeth in concert, if fucking Vic Rattlehead comes out, you better scream just that much harder. And I am so excited. I'm already going to start picking out my dress that I'm going to wear for when I get to meet Vic. So just put in a good word for me, is all I'm saying. So I'm super excited about that. We really appreciate you coming on. We had a great time.
been
Thank you
great.
so much. Yeah. And we will have him in our clubhouse so that you guys can ask him any kind of questions that you want to ask him. And then it's his choice to answer them if he wants to or not. And with that, I think we out this bitch.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Zoe. And thank you, Stormy. Can't wait to go back on tour and meet you guys personally. And I'll make sure to let Vic know to come along.
Absolutely. Give him a little head check. All right. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening. If you like the show, please rate and review us and tell your friends.